Hello, this is George Senda, the official, the real, the authentic, the original, the one, the only, the guy from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not California. Well, Trump has been convicted by a jury not of his peers in a kangaroo court, almost like a bill of attainder where they don't give you a right to fight for your freedom, which was denied to President Trump. He asked for a change of venue, was denied. Asked for a change of judge, was denied. Um, George Soros funded DA who's now worth $50 million. Where did he get the money? He only makes $250,000 a year. A New York Attorney General who swore to get Trump, and a district attorney in Atlanta, Georgia, swore to get Trump. Biden officials being sent to Manhattan to work on this case. A conflicted judge whose daughter works for Kamala Harris and is making money off this case. All of these things. Witnesses not allowed to appear, not allowed to testify in Trump's behalf. This was a communist trial, like they did in Russia, where Beria said, show me the person, I'll show you the crime. I'll make up the crime. Now we have the thing that's going to go, they should bypass it to the Manhattan, New York Supreme Court, because that's completely anti-Trump. And they're all leftist. So they need to go to Albany, file an immediate appeal of this case before the even sentence is done. They really may or may not be able to do that, but ultimately it will go to the U.S. Supreme Court under the Sixth Amendment, and I will read briefly the Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation. He was never informed of the charges because they were hidden. We still don't know what he was charged with. And then a judge said, well, it's like going to a Chinese restaurant. Pick from column A, column B, column C, and whatever you decide he's guilty of, it doesn't have to be unanimous, which is also illegal under Supreme Court decisions. Just pick one and find him guilty. It's like the old Dewsbury thing that went after Nixon, I believe, and guilty, guilty, guilty. And then you have Robert De Niro showing up saying Trump will never leave the White House. Well, you remember there was Bush derangement syndrome, where they said he would never leave the White House when his term was over. Well, guess what? He left the White House. So did Donald Trump. Not a dictator, fighting for his rights under the Constitution of the United States and to protect our so-called impartial legal system, which judges should be blind to political considerations, whether it be left, right, center. They should decide on the merits of the case based on the law and the Constitution. And in this case, Donald Trump's rights were completely violated. Not only his rights, he's got a gag order. Who gets a gag order? His family gets a gag order. His attorneys cannot talk about it. His family members can't talk about it. That's something you do, you put them, and you're not allowed to talk. Yet, Stormy Daniels, and that's another thing, they brought in sexual things into this case that were not allowed. I can't remember the guy's name. Harvey Weinstein, I think that's the guy's name. They brought in sexual commentary into his case, and the New York Supreme Court said, nope, got to overturn this. That's not allowed. And, if I were with a billionaire, let's say they were a woman, I would remember whether I had sex with her or not, and I wouldn't be passing out. I felt like passing out, or I think I passed out. And describing his underwear, the condom, and all that. And yet she couldn't give certain details of the room. She couldn't remember dates. Only when it came up that she got 130 grand and she decided to make more money by telling her story, that's when she comes out. And this whole case is so bogus in that, they charged him with 34 counts of illegal campaign violations, and yet the Federal Elections Commission said, nope, not going to try this. The former DA of Manhattan said, nope, not going to try this. Alvin Bragg himself said, not going to try this, until he got pressure from officials in the Biden administration. A guy wrote a book, you got to try this. And the statute of limitations on this case had went away. Well, they changed the laws, just like Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, changed the laws so that Trump could get sued by women who accused him of rape in a dressing room at Bergdorf Goodman. That never happened. So this is such a sham. All these cases, Florida, about documents. Hillary Clinton got a slap in the wrist, FBC, and a fine. Showing legal documents, showing secret documents to people who are not qualified to. Joe Biden had them in his garage in his Corvette, showed them to people. Oh, he's too old and decrepit. He would never survive the trial, and yet he's not old and decrepit enough to be president of the United States. All of these cases are done for election interference. We had Russia. The Russian hookers. The Hunter Biden laptop was done with Russian collusion. It's all BS. All right, now, I had to say something about this because I'm fed up. And by the way, I donated $10 to Donald Trump. I will donate more next month. Okay, 1,415,019 views, 20,879 subscribers. Very hot here. Tuesday, I go to the doctor. And Wednesday, it's going to be 95. I finally managed to put away most of the laundry. So I have a little bit put away. But it's very difficult to do anything when it's very hot. 2 days ago in here, it was 95 in my living room. And I've gotten very little sleep because I run all the fans all the time, and I am roasting in here. So, okay, no one seems to be in chat. I didn't know we were going to go in, but... And the other problem is I drink a ton of water, and then I wind up going to the bathroom. So, thank God I bought the eye maker. And watch, I canceled a purchase that I made in April from Stoneberry. They were going to deliver it in April, then they said May, then they said June, and I've never had something take 3 months to get to me. So I called up Montgomery Ward's, and I'm getting a new item, 3-in-1 item. It will be here on June 13th. And by the way, don't criticize me for all the Dinty Muir beef stew. I was determined to have COVID. I got sick on the 9th with stuff running out of my nose. The next day, Kathy and I went to dinner. I thought I had a sinus infection. And then she got sick the weekend. My mother's dad was coughing up stuff like crazy. She was coughing up stuff and other things. And I went to the doctor on the 16th, and they swabbed my nose and said, you've got COVID. And I had no food in the house. So I want to thank the mass spooper for sending me the beef stew. I thought she was going to send little 1-minute things. And this guy writes, they're full of fat, and my cardiologist would use it. Don't criticize me for what I eat. I'm not eating those every day. I went and got food from the store on the way home because I had no food in the house once I got my check. Or no, that was the next day I got my check. And got cat food. I have to go get cat litter and cat food on Monday. I'm better. I'm still coughing up stuff, but the pus is gone and the blood is gone. And the other problem is gone. So I'm getting better. But part of the reason I'm coughing is the heat. So I did 3 loads of laundry, put most of the way. I've got stuff here by the chair I got to go through and sort it out. But, don't criticize me for what I eat, particularly when it's an emergency. I had no money in the bank, and I had no food. So she was nice enough to send me 2 cases and any more. Thank God for it. That's my emergency ration. If I completely run out of money and food, I have... about 18 or 19 cans there. I could eat 1 a day, but I don't eat those every day. And I like them. If you don't like what I'm eating, too bad. So, watch for the 13th. I get this new item, and then I'll do a video on what broke my microwave. So, Yes, Star Trek 3 is coming out in the theaters. I understand that William Shatner blocked Kirstie Alley from coming back to Star Trek 3. He felt threatened by her. And may she rest in peace. So I did not care for part of Star Trek 3, but the ending with Spock made me, everybody in the theater cried. And Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, when I went to see it in Sacramento with my friend Glenn and somebody else, they were lined up for 3 blocks. And excuse me. I'm doing for 22 days now. I apologize for coughing up stuff. It's better, but there's a scene there when Khan looks out in the view screen and he sees the Enterprise start to get away and he screams, "No!" And then the Reliant blows up. Well, I saw that in the theaters. It's not on opening day. Hundreds of people lined up in a theater in Sacramento. And I wrote the official Star Trek magazine, and I don't have the copy because it was in Kathy's storage. And I said, I saw this scene. Khan looks at the view screen. The Reliant effect is the Genesis wave is building to detonation. And Spock goes to engineering. Mind melds with McCoy, puts his cotter in McCoy, which later drove McCoy nuts. And he goes in and gets the whatever the thing was called, I don't know, put out all this light and radiation, and he gets irradiated. And somebody, Sulu Chekhov, says mains are nominal, and he said, "Go, Sulu," and they go into warp, and Khan sees this and screams no. He realizes he's defeated at last. A great performance by Ricardo Montalban. And those were his real muscles, by the way. He really was buffed. So that was in the theater, and the official Star Trek guy columnist said, yes, that was in the movie, but it was taken out for some reason. I think it was a huge, big mistake. So the one film that I thought was an absolute turkey was Star Trek V, The Search for God. So, no, I don't think he screamed, he screamed no. He's just anguished no. And he was dying, so he knew he was, but he could not get his revenge on Kirk. Kirk's son got killed in number 3, so Merrick Buttrick, the actor who wound up having AIDS, so he died. But Star Trek 6 I liked. Star Trek 4 was fun. And of course there is the two problems in Star Trek 4 where Scotty and McCoy go to PlexCorp and show the engineer in charge the chemical formula for transparent aluminum. Now there's a company in Germany that almost have transparent aluminum, but it's used for bulletproof glass. It's very heavy. And then the other problem is we don't have the time problem. Did this affect the future? Were the circuits too fused to back engineer it? Chekhov, when he got arrested on the Ranger, which was posing at the Enterprise, I saw the Ranger. I've been on the USS Enterprise, the CBA-65. I built a model of it years ago. I had a huge fleet. My mother came in and threw away all my models, which really made me mad. What else to do? She did that to my comic book collection, killed my pet mice, and threw in my science fiction collection years ago. Years later, when I was 16, that's when I wound up moving out of the house. But Chekhov left his phaser and communicator on the ship. So did that change the timeline? No one knows. It's one of those paradoxes that we will never know, or nobody's ever brought it up. So Star Trek 1, Kathy and I went to see it at the Hilltop Drive-In in Richmond, and the drive-in screen light was so dim you couldn't see the first 20 minutes. The Klingon attack scene where they're attacking V'ger. all you saw was a light. And people are honking their horns, lights, lights, lights. And they shut the film off, and then the guy changed the bulb. The bulb went out, was going out. So, excuse me. So that's how we saw Star Trek 1, the endless movie. And Robert Wise, who is a director who directed The Earth Stood Still, another great movie, had no clue about Star Trek. He knew absolutely nothing about Star Trek. But it brought Star Trek back. And then they brought Harv Bevan in. They got rid of Roddenberry. Made him a consultant. Oh my God, there is pus in here. Oh, good Lord. Sorry. And not much stuff. I was getting huge clots with. And Star Trek crew made money, and then they said we got to do 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you had the Star Trek Generations, where Shatner allowed himself to kill his character Kirk, and he admits that was a big mistake. And now Kirk has become a non-person. If you look in the ads for Star Trek the game online, there's a Kirk there, but it's not Shatner's Kirk. It's the Kirk from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I love, and it won't be out till next year because of the strike. So I have a Star Trek model. I have about 200 Star Trek books in the bedroom, about 150 Star Wars books. So, although it got kind of ridiculous because both series started having Star Trek and Star Wars and a Darth as a zombie. Everybody was having zombies show up. So that's about it. I gave $10 to Trump. I'll give $10 again. And some say if everybody gave $34 a piece, Trump would have something like $100 billion in donations. He got 487,800 small donations that crashed his website. Most of those were under $50, and he now has he has one businessman who just gave him a check for $300,000. He realizes that the only hope for business in this country is Donald Trump, not Joe Biden's inflation. Joe Biden's smirk when they asked him, is President Trump a political prisoner created by you? And someone say he looks like a creepy, weird Chucky doll, which is on Fox. So Trump will prevail. And then they want to remove Justice Scalia, or Alito, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm terrible. His wife likes to fly the American flag. And these communists, Marxists, socialists, and so-called progressives, they changed their name from socialists to progressives. And Trotskyites hate the American flag. They hate anything that has to do with America. So I looked on the search site, Politico and all, CNN and NPR. The trouble with Alito and his wife and the flag. There's no trouble displaying the flag. You don't like the American flag? Move. Oh, and by the way, the crazy Robert De Niro said Trump will never leave. They said Bush wouldn't leave the White House either, and the people that did leave was Bill Clinton. He and his wife and their staff stole thousands of dollars of value antiques, wrecked parts of the White House when they left, and I don't know if the government ever got that stuff back. This is what they do. They go and trash everything because they don't believe in anything. They don't have They don't have any moral fiber. They don't have any conviction. All they want to do is transform America in their communist image. And that Trump will prevail in the Supreme Court because it will go from the New York court if he does not get overturned to the U.S. Supreme Court. Oh, I am done with that. Oh, God. Monday I will go out and get cat food and cat litter, and Tuesday and Wednesday will be 95 here. So the cats have been sleeping outside. Fluffy is on his favorite blankets. But, yeah, I don't have the money right now because my credit union kept overdrawing me for ACH deposits. And I have to call places up and say I can't pay you till the end of June. So, and I'm going to tell them the other problem is that COVID is living. I go out to feed the cats and that's it. I go to the store and I put a mask on and My neighbor, where I feed Pretty Little Gray, he said it was horrible last night where he lives. He couldn't sleep because it was so hot. So it's 85 in here right now, by the way. So when Star Trek 3 comes out in the theater, I don't know when, and I'm well, and I'm going to ask them to test me again, make sure I'm over this. Although I've been treating my nose with salt water, like I haven't done it today, but which normally dries up the mucus, and I'm taking more prednisone every day. But the problem is when you get a sinus infection of any kind, it goes way up into your sinuses are way up here, and they spread out, so it's really hard to get at that. So I hope to be better. Well, I'm not going to die. The first time was horrible. I woke up on Saturday, November 5th, I think, at midnight with Fluffy and little girl sleeping on top of me, and 2 electric blankets on full blast, and I was freezing cold, and started throwing up, and started having diarrhea. And by Monday at 4:30 in the morning, I called the ambulance and said, I can't stop throwing up. I've been throwing up nonstop since Saturday morning. Got to John Muir and Walnut Creek, and they swabbed my nose, and they said, you've got COVID. And I went, holy S word, you've got to be effing kidding me. Now, I had the Pfizer vaccine, Moderna booster, and 2 recent Pfizer and Moderna boosters. Still got COVID twice. Kathy did not have a shot. She got COVID. She's doing better. Oh, by the way, one other bright spot. I'm sitting here, and I'm moving my feet and toes and hands and fingers still go numb because of the damn Pfizer vaccine. It made my feet go with screaming pain. But I'm going to get up for a second. Fluffy is looking at me. Fluffy is sneezing. I'm able to get up now for the first time in 17 years. And except for a brief bout of pain when I was dragging my cart home, and some jerk on the bus kept kicking my cart, I'm putting my foot behind one wheel and behind the other wheel, and I finally got fed up, and he hit me. And get the effing thing out of the way. You're like I didn't call the cops, and you just assaulted me. And I didn't bring the cat litter on because it was too late in the day. So I got to go get cat litter on Monday. We got maniacs on the bus anymore, crazy people. But now I'm able to stand and walk around with not having lost. When I fell on Bart and fractured my right kneecap and shattered the cartilage underneath, I went from 206 days to walk 18 blocks a day to wearing crutches and went to 385 pounds. Well, now I'm at 295 and a quarter. So I've lost 95 pounds, and I hope to get back to 260, which is where I was before I fell. Then they can operate on my right knee. So, but I'm not having, I have my foot pillow underneath the blankets. I'm no longer having pain where I'm screaming where the knee is not even being moved. So that 95 pounds is like a person. And I did buy Oreo cookies and Pop-Tarts and what else did I buy? Something with chocolate donuts, and decided, well, I like Pop-Tarts, so I've decided not to buy Oreo cookie. And the Oreo cookies are making me cough. Something in the Oreo cookies. So I'm not buying those anymore. I'm not going to buy chocolate donuts. I like to dip those in my coffee. So, but I did buy peach and chocolate ice cream. Chocolate ice cream tastes smoky, which is really weird. And of course, the freezer will keep some stuff. It'll keep ice water cold. The ice cream starts to melt, but I like Tillamook's peach ice cream. I'll have to get their strawberry next time. They had on sale 2 big things for $7. And I bought salads and stuff. So I wasn't eating unhealthily. But that stuff is $3 or $4 a can. And she sent them to Amazon. So I've got 6, 11, 15, about 18. So I've got $75 worth of food there that I don't have to spend money on. Ew. Ew. Insect parts? Well, I don't buy Oreo. Kathy loves Oreo cookies, but I think she's cut them out too. Yeah, that's disgusting. So, I just like, they keep having them on sale for like $1.97, so that's what I'm getting. The other thing I do eat though, I really, I don't eat Cheez-Its anymore. I got these Cheez-Its Pups and they were terrible. I do love one thing, but they have them on sale and they don't affect me. Although there's some kind of powder they put on them, it is goldfish. And I bought some Cheetos and those started making me, so those are gone. So eventually I'll stop eating all the junk food. So, I never heard of that. Oh my God, that's terrible. It's awful. And keep losing my nail clippers. So, I'm better. And I still get a little tired when I run around in here. I've got so much stuff to clean in here. I get the money. Cuticle, I can't cut it off. Can't find the nail clipper. So, I'm going to clear this out when it cools off. I did the dishes. I soaked the crock pot. I gotta clean that, clear all the dishes again, and then somewhere I'll eat something for dinner. So I don't have that kind of money. I'm a poor and poverty stricken. I got credit cards to pay off and credit bills, and I gave Capital One. I haven't given Capital One. On Monday I gave Citibank and the rent and Montgomery Ward the payment, and I had to not pay people because I started out with the month with. Because they sent out these, I talked to Citibank, they said, no, when you send out an ACH check for a bill pay, we take the money out immediately. The credit union doesn't take it out till it goes all the way to the company like in Dallas. And then the check floats back and then they charge me, and then by then I have no money in the bank and they've overdrawn me. So I may switch bill pay to Citibank, but I did get the manager to agree to let me get cashier's checks, which cost me nothing, and then I'll mail them out. It cost me a stamp. I can't. No pork rinds, thank you. I tried one when I was a kid and I threw up. I am not going to eat fried pork rinds. I am curious about the air fryer, what it does. But I don't eat fried foods anymore either. I made the chicken a week ago, and I've got to throw out the remnants. I didn't eat it. And they're in 2 bowls and my measuring cup in the refrigerator. And the next time I get chicken, I'll bake it in the oven. So I did eat one thing, and the sauce made me start choking. It was some kind of beef healthy choice, and I started gagging on it. Whatever. Some of these sauces are terrible. So, and of course, here's the problem. It's Saturday and Sunday with the El Kabong Hour Power here down by the creek. They have rock music on, and they have a bar with rock music. And then Sunday they have a farmer's market projected to rock music by guys who sound like a dying moose. So, by the way, Pop, I saw your notice that someone's pretending to be you in here, and I haven't clicked on to say anything yet, but thank you for the notice. So, I've also been using my breathing apparatus. I have to go get I gotta wait till the end of the month, my tubes for my air machine. And little girl slept next to me for 2 hours a day. That was a huge help. But even her, I had to keep getting up peeing because I'm drinking so much water. And she went outside. She likes to sleep on the benches downstairs. It's cool. So, and I'm always, I don't know if I'm used to where these guys on Canadian Prepper and others, Russian official says nuclear war imminent. They've been saying that now for 8 months. Maybe when Trump was still in office. It's like clickbait. Every time you turn around, Putin's going to launch the missiles. And also stupid. So, well, I guess I'm going to go. I don't have much else to say. There's not much going on. I did hang up all the shirts and rearrange the bed, clean the foot pillow. Part of the problem I had stuff coming out of me I couldn't control and had to wash my pillows. So, I got a washing electric blanket. Kathy has a problem when she coughs, she pees and other things. So she's still coughing, but she never had the vaccines, the second dose. The doctor told me that. Well, I'm not worried about Trump going to jail because what they're probably going to do, according to Jonathan Turley and Alan Dershowitz, they'll probably give him a 2-year prison sentence suspended because even that conflicted judge whose daughter works for Kamala Harris knows that if he sends Trump to prison, remember, he's running for re-election just like the judge in Georgia is running for re-election. So these are elected judges. They're not appointed. And there's a very good possibility that New York could go for Trump because people are really, really pissed. Americans don't like bills of attainder. You don't get to see the charge against you. They don't like kangaroo courts. They don't like star chamber courts. They don't like government interference in your lives. Government telling you what to do. Government moving in your house and domiciling troops in there. That's why we have the first 10 Amendments, because the government in England, the king, sent troops to Boston and Philadelphia and other American cities. They were colonial cities, but they were American cities, and impressed people into their Navy and Army. You have no right to petition the legislature, the parliament, because you were considered to be less than a British citizen, even though you were a British citizen. So they're not going to send Trump to jail. But now there's a difference between the left, who we had Kamala Harris and others. We're going to continue having riots, and they blame Trump for it. You're the president. You should stop this. How the hell is he going to stop it when he's thousands of miles away and they're burning down cities like Minneapolis? They burned down Ferguson, Missouri. Minneapolis, a guy who had a drug overdose. And I forgot what I was going to say. They know that if they sentence Trump to prison, it's going to backfire. Every commentator said this whole decision is backfiring on them. And Trump went up 6 points after the verdict and got $50 million in donations. He's going to keep getting more. And Americans are a fair people, but they don't like being railroaded. They don't like being lied to. They don't like being BS'd. Biden says there's no inflation. The economy is great. People have money. They're buying stuff in the stores, and yet dozens of companies every day are declaring bankruptcy, and they're going out of business because no one's got any money. And people have gone through their 401k, their savings. We have Bidenomics and we have Maganomics. And 30% of blacks now, young blacks, are going to vote for Trump, and a large number of Latinos are going to vote for Trump. The Democrats are freaking out. How do we get them back? You'll never get them back. Because you can only lie to people. You know, remember what Lincoln said, you can fool some of the people some of the time, you can fool some of the people all the time. I may get it wrong, but you can't fool everybody. And the Democrats have been fooling people since Barry Goldwater. When they said Barry Goldwater was going to eliminate Social Security and eliminate Medicare. And they had a commercial where I think it was Dukakis throwing a little old lady off a cliff because they were going to throw little old ladies off the cliff with Social Security. Every time there's a Republican, they blame Republicans. They're going to eliminate Social Security. George Bush, or George H.W. Bush, wanted people to pay into their own Social Security accounts. I still think that's a good idea. Yeah, take the money out of Social Security. They need to raise the limits of income. Maybe extend the minimum retirement age to 70 so that Social Security doesn't go insolvent. I don't know what they're going to do on Medicare. But I'm on SSI. If I ever get money, I'll be off SSI in a heartbeat. Somebody in California won $500,000 on the Mega Millions. If I had that kind of money after they take 34% out, you still wind up with $350,000. I'd be going to Vegas, get my apartment building with a pool and air conditioning. I'm not worried about riot. Someone on Fox said, and other commentators, conservatives go to work. We keep the country running. We keep the electricity going. We keep the gasoline stations going. We keep the roads going. We don't have time to protest and take over campuses because we don't do that. We're here to conserve. That's what a conservative is. We're not here to destroy. We're not here to take over campuses. And they had pro-Palestinians at Columbia. And Columbia found out when these people were removed that very, very few of them had any connection to the university. They were outsiders, outside agitators, being funded probably by George Soros. We should block, if Trump gets in, he should go after Clinton for election interference. He should go after Biden and for the same. And also, he should find a way to block Soros from transferring all this money from Europe. Well, Biden's not smart enough. He does, he sits there and, Mr. President, do you consider President Trump to be a political prisoner? And he turns and goes, and like a manure-eating grin, and you could see right there he was smirking and like, I did this. Biden wouldn't think of pardoning Trump because for the next 5.5 months, they're going to have debate a couple of days before. They're going to debate in June or July, I can't remember. The sentencing is going to be 4 days for the Republican National Convention. They're already talking about Biden doing digital acclaimment as, Democratic emperor. He's not going to even have a real convention in Chicago, and that could backfire too. The Republicans are going to be in Milwaukee. Trump is going somewhere to a rally tonight. I don't know where. But Biden's not smart enough to think about pardoning Trump. That's still not going to solve the problem. You pissed off 81 million people who voted for Trump. And one commentator on Fox said there's more than ample evidence that the election was stolen. You cannot say that on YouTube. They'll kick you off YouTube. I saw the polling place in Philadelphia. They claimed to have a bathroom leak. They evacuated the place. They blocked the windows so Republican poll watchers could not watch the ballots. Then they found under tables, suitcases of ballots marked only for Biden. They found ballots in station wagons at loading docks. They found ballots at schools. They found ballots on those cardboard boxes you see at the registrar of voters. Only one thing was checked: Joe Biden. 2 o'clock in the morning, Trump was leading. By 7, he was losing the election. And then he tried to contest it in Georgia and Arizona and corrupt election officials, governors, secretaries of state, attorney generals. There's nothing wrong, nothing to see here, move along. It's like sending on the Wizard of Oz. And the one thing Democrats know how to do well is dirty tricks. They don't know, they cannot. Hillary Clinton, the Russian collusion, the Russian hookers in urinating on Trump in a hotel room. The guy that was supposed to be there was never there. He was off with his son at Disneyland. The Hunter Biden laptop that was, supposed to be fake. He left in a computer shop, and that was done by Putin, and on and on and on. It's all fake. All these charges against Trump are completely bogus. And Hillary Clinton gets a slap in the wrist, and Biden, well, he's too old and decrepit to stand trial, so they gave him free pass. Someone put a picture. The only people that get a fair trial in this thing are Democrats, because nothing happens to them. So, and Hunter Biden now is up for federal weapons charges. I'm not sure what that's about. That starts on Monday. And the judge in that case she is a Trump-appointed judge, federal judge, and she said, I'm not going to let him get away with murder. I'm tired of this stuff. So he's going to probably go to prison. Oh yeah, and Biden got the DOJ to let the statute of limitations pass, so Hunter Biden couldn't have to pay taxes on the millions he got from a Russian energy company and a Chinese energy company. And Biden was trying to do a deal with the red Chinese. Remember, these people are still communists, to build ports and facilities in Texas and sell our natural gas to the communist Chinese. And he's worth millions now too. Where's he getting all the money? He's getting it from his Chinese puppet masters who tell him how I had to jump, and he goes, I'll jump okay, but first I gotta move the cooler on the beach because I'm enjoying the sun in Delaware. I don't know where I am. And then today he went out riding. Someone went, and Fox. He went bicycle riding with his son Hunter and about 10 Secret Service guys all on bicycles. So we've already seen how he falls down all the time. So this guy needs to go. And the on the right, they said that some are calling for attorney generals and DAs across the country in Republican-dominated states to go after Democrats. And this is war. You don't want to do warfare on either side. You want to have a free and impartial court, a chance to confront your accusers, a chance to present your own witnesses. We don't need warfare. We don't need lawfare. And they need to go and first thing, Trump should go in there and fire everybody in the DOJ. Oh, another thing, the State Department is full of leftists. Not Eugene McCarthy. Joe McCarthy in the 50s said, I have a list of the communists in the State Department. And the whiners, the communists, the fellow travelers who were kicked out of Hollywood in the 50s and still whine to this day about it. Well, they found out years later that the list he had of communists in the State Department was real. There were communists in the State Department. So, yes, I think Trump will be president again. Remember, there's a quote that Yamamoto never said. It's attributed to him that we have awakened a giant with a terrible resolve. That was because we attacked Pearl Harbor without declaring a declaration of war. You have awakened a sleeping giant. People are complacent. People are worried about I can't afford to eat. I went to Safeway. I wanted a bag of cherries. $7.59 for a bag of cherries. I used to pick cherries as a kid in Canada off the tree, and they were 10 cents a basket. $7.59 for cherries. People can't afford they can't afford to buy food for their families. They can't afford to buy their bills. Their mortgage payments are going up. Everything's going up. Nothing's going down. The wages aren't going up. Under Trump, we had wage raises. We had 401k wages. We had all kinds of compensation. We had a lower tax figure. People were doing good under Trump. Under Biden, people are miserable. And then Biden says, oh, there's no problem with immigration. 11 million illegals, criminals, mental cases, gang members, MS-13 probably. The members of the Biden administration admitted that Trump closed the border, and they had one section of border left to fill, and Trump was unelected. And they took all the stuff and sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. And that's how they were able to pour in. They had the border blocked. And Trump says if he gets in again, he's going to deport every one of these sons of bitches. I have nothing against people who come to this country legally. The Mexicans, where I feed Tiny One the cat, little black cat, very sweet. They say, hello, George, how you doing? They all work for them. I don't care if they're illegal. They do work on gardening and landscaping and putting in concrete. They work hard. And they're out there at night drinking beer every night. But tonight they had a new beer I never recognized, some kind of off-brand beer. I tried. They gave me a Pacifico. I didn't like it. But I drank it and thanked them. I don't drink much beer. I used to drink Spaten and Dos Equis. But just like Budweiser telling us to drink Bud Light with a guy pretending to be a woman, pretending to be a transsexual, people said, I'm not buying Bud Light anymore. And Fox said that's a terrible beer anyway. But People are fed up. They can't take it anymore. My cat food prices have doubled under Biden. There. This is $1.09 at Safeway for one can. I drank Coors years ago at conventions, science fiction conventions, but the trick is drinking when you go to parties, you eat. You not eat, drink on an empty stomach. And then I would go and pass out. But now I get drunk on 2 beers, so, and silly. If you were here and I talk, I'd start laughing and then fall on the bed and pass out, so I don't drink much. And I probably will go get a bottle of Hennessy because I have real trouble sleeping. One of the side effects of the first COVID, the second COVID, it gives you horrible insomnia. So, but I was never much of a beer drinker. I had my mother come into my apartment in Sacramento. Why is the beer here? Well, it's been sitting here for 6 months. When I feel like having a beer, when I don't have a beer, it doesn't go bad. And I had somebody staying with me, and I had a case of Budweiser in there. He drank all my damn Budweiser. Never did pay me for it. And he lived with me for about a month and a half till he got a place to live. We were watching Cosmos with Carl Sagan, and he would, every time he would say billions and billions of stars, I would fall asleep. Well, we're watching that one night, and Sagan started talking about UFOs and UFO crashes. And the guy knew nothing about my interest in the paranormal. My books were all packed in the second bedroom boxes. Wife came in and took everything, sold it, claimed she sold it, pay off credit cards, but had no receipts. Both attorneys didn't believe her. But anyway, he said, you know, I worked on one of those. I said, what do you mean you worked on one of those? He said, we had it in a hangar. And he didn't say where. And he said, we got the doors open. We got the lights on and all the bells and whistles and switches. But I was on the project for a year and a half. That's as far as we got. A completely intact UFO somewhere in the United States. We have probably captured 25 or 30 intact and wrecked UFOs and aliens and dead bodies. And we went to Mexico and stole the UFO that crashed in Mexico and killed Mexican soldiers. So there's a case in my Donald Keel book of a crash in Montana in 1952. And the chairman of a radio network said this happened. And yet I called that city up and talked to the newspaper. We've never heard of it. So the earliest case of UFO crash was 1923 in Germany. Another one in 1930s in Italy. The Germans probably had a UFO, and they were trying to build the Bell, the German, and they never got all the way through it because that section in Poland got invaded by the Russians. So the truth is still out there, and the truth about Donald Trump will be out there too. And the closer we get to the election, you'll see people. There was one commentator in Fox. No, it was the governor of North Dakota. And he said, I know this couple, and they're old, and they've never donated to anything in their life. And they have to live month to month. But they said, we are fed up with this. It's outrageous. They donated $1,000 to Donald Trump. And that's incredible. So I will donate $10 a month. And if he needs money after the election, I will continue to donate. It's all I can afford right now until I get my bills paid. Now, I buy lotto tickets and I win the lotto. I will fly to wherever city is going to have a rally, talk to the Secret Service, show them what's in the envelope. I wanted to give this to President Trump. The maximum I believe you can give on a donation under the federal election law is $33,000. So I would give him a check for $33,000 and make a couple of requests and see if I can interview my YouTube channel, which would be an incredible interview with Donald Trump. And so, all right, my voice is going again. So, have a great night. Stay dry, stay hydrated, stay cool, stay safe, and watch the polls. They're talking Trump could take New Jersey. Trump could take Virginia. They're neck and neck in Virginia. Trump could possibly take Minnesota, which hasn't gone Republican since Richard Nixon, I think. So, all right, that's it for this one. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching. Click the like button and get your friends, neighbors, and coworkers and acquaintances to subscribe. Remember, you can join the channel for $3.99 and $6.99 a month, where you see content nowhere else. I will catch you next time. I am out of here because I have to go to the bathroom real bad. All right, that's it for this one. And I'm going to drink some ice water and go back to my regularly scheduled YouTube or play my games on my phone or something. I don't know. Have a good night.